Oh yeah, my crunchy shock jock voice is back. It's the Matt Sager podcast. I'm the man, you're the man. Shake it up, shake it up. Happy Friday. It's October 5th. And if you're in town for New York Comic Con, I want to say hi to you. So email me, matt@mattsager.com. I'll help you promote your stuff. Call me at 646-535-4788. Whole bunch of my friends are in town for the con, which is very cool. As is seeing all the sights and sounds and spectacles, the many premieres. I'll grant you, my very first premiere was not a huge thrill for me, that being Venom. But I'm very happy to say, I always like to balance positivity and negativity, and so having come away from Venom with a really bad taste in my mouth, pun not intended since Venom eats people. And since the very next thing I saw was the Titans, which was not good, I actually preferred Venom. But I'm very happy to say that among the many cool things I saw today was the 5-minute plus trailer for Aquaman from DC. And oh my God, if you haven't seen this, go to YouTube. Just enter Aquaman. It'll be the first result. This is not only an amazing looking movie, but it is a clear acknowledgement, the clearest statement from DC Entertainment yet, that without coming out and saying so, that, yeah, we get it. The whole Zack Snyder thing, he made a great first impression with Watchmen. His plans for Superman kind of made sense at the time. Darkness is a great thing. And listen, that's not just DC saying that. I'm going to be the first to tell you that darkness in storytelling, especially in comic book storytelling, can be absolutely invaluable, is just a critical element of storytelling. It adds realism without taking you away from the story. It invests you in it. It turns it from an action movie of just silliness to an action movie with stakes. But the problem with what was going on with Zack Snyder in DC was, sure, there was darkness, but there wasn't anything else. There was no story. There was no character development. There was just this bleak, gray, ugly 2.5 hours of your life gone by. And, oh, Martha. I get it. Both Superman and Batman have parents named Martha. And I can't even account for Suicide Squad and Justice League. When they started hemorrhaging money, it was only a matter of time. Not a question of if, but of when they would change course, find a new direction. And they've done that. Aquaman does have a bit of darkness in it, but mostly it looks beautiful. It is bright both in color and in tone of storytelling. Humorous, Jason Momoa was, of course, the comic relief in Justice League, so helming his own Aquaman movie, it makes sense that there's going to be comedy. But it's not dumb comedy. It's not frat boy comedy. There's silliness, there's goofiness, but there's action, there's royalty. It looks, and maybe this is just because it's Jason Momoa, but it does look kind of Game of Thronesy. So that looks fantastic. I'm really excited for that. And I'd also, talking about getting in touch with me, I would like some input from you. Venom is on track to make huge amounts of money this weekend. Apparently, there was some effort made by Lady Gaga fans to launch a campaign of negative reviews, and I think, if anything, that has only elevated its presence in the press and given it more attention, because it's just making an insane amount of money, maybe breaking records, which is crazy, because it is a terrible movie. It's a Spider-Man movie where you can't talk about Spider-Man or even acknowledge him. It's a movie about a cannibal monster that's PG-13. It's a movie with editing so bad, the supervillain, who's basically a bad Elon Musk ripoff. There's a big scene in which he tries to establish himself and also give himself a little bit of sort of insight into what made him be this evil guy who hoards symbiotes, and a little bit of insight into his criminal, evil mind. And it takes place at a school field trip to his lab. And I'll grant you, just having kids in this lab full of alien face-eating monsters, that alone, if you stop to think about it, sure, that makes him sinister. Like, wow, there's a bunch of 6-year-olds within 5 feet of face-eating aliens. But the point of the scene was for him to go on a little bit of a monologue, Ozymandias from Watchmen style, and, give a little bit of insight into what made him who he is, how his mind works, what makes him tick. Give him something other than, I'm evil and I collect aliens. A little insight into his personality. So a girl on the field trip asks a question and is shouted down. And he goes, oh, no. You must let this girl ask her question, because it is only through asking questions that we learn to do this and that, and it's how we learn to interact with the world and how our curiosity develops and peaks and does this and does that. And, the subtext of this is, it is through my curiosity that I began collecting alien specimens, and when I found that they ate people, I got really excited about them, and that's why I'm evil. Okay, fair enough. as scenes go, all right. But the editing is so bad, they cut to the next scene before the girl asks her question. So his monologue is just, it's pissing in the wind. It's very silly. But I would like to know, because a bunch of my friends have come at me and said, Matt, you're a killjoy. Matt, you have no sense of humor. Don't you get it? Venom is camp. It's so bad, it's great. And that one really stunned me, because not only do I kind of pride myself on my sense of humor, but I've always been about camp, about stuff that's so bad it's good. You know, as a Generation Xer in the pre-YouTube days, you can find 1 million copies of this streaming on YouTube and Vimeo and Daily Motion if you're even bothering to go that deep. You needn't even try. It's all on YouTube. But back in the days of VHS, that William Shatner doing Rocket Man, introduced by Bernie Taupin at the science fiction convention, we used to trade VHS tapes of that like it was gold. Like we would have sold pints of our blood for copies of that. Similarly, for Tim Burton's Forbidden Zone, it was before he broke really big, before Edward Scissorhands, before Batman, before Mars Attacks, and then also before the failed Superman movie and Burton's subsequent decline. But Forbidden Zone was this perfect encapsulation of all of the best and worst of Tim Burton's attributes. And it had Hervé Villechaize in it going on, Forbidden Zone, Forbidden Zone. And it was just the best. I still have a VHS copy of that. So I do think I'm a campy guy, but if there's something about Venom that I'm missing, I would like to know. I'm a big Venom fan. I'm a massive Tom Hardy fan, and I'm kind of a fan, believe it or not, of Avi Arad. I mean, I don't know the man personally, but I don't think the Marvel Cinematic Universe, against which Venom looks sort of silly right now, could have existed without Arad. He's the guy who got Marvel really invested in the idea of movie making. He's the guy who convinced them it could be done. He's the guy who generated enough money for them with a specific intention of doing movies in the late 90s, that they could make movies. Without him, there never would have been an X-Men, there never would have been a Blade, so I really root for him in a big way. There also never would have been a first Spider-Man franchise with Sam Raimi, which for at least 2 of those movies, much like Blade, at least 2 of those really made an impression and continue to influence the genre to this day. So, if there's something about Venom that I'm missing, if there's something lovable in this anti-hero, something about Tom Hardy's performance that is so sublime that I've missed, I sense that Hardy doesn't feel this way, because the interviews he's given at the 11th hour, like after he saw the final cut right before the release, the interviews I've seen of him are kind of him going, yeah, mate, look, don't get your expectations up too high, right? Like, I thought this was going to be real fun, and as it turns out, it's a bit shite, isn't it? And that's my British accent, which is also shite. But if your opinion differs from mine, I'm always interested in hearing it. And regarding Venom, I'm actually soliciting it. So get in touch with me. If you've got something good to say about Venom, something bad to say about Venom, and especially if you're in town for Comic-Con and you want to promote your stuff, hit me up. Email me, matt@mattsager.com. Call 646-535-4788. Or get in touch with me via social media. On Twitter, I'm @MattSager. Instagram, Real Matt Sager. On Facebook, The Matt Sager. I've also got a voiceover page there. It's Matt Sager VO. And this podcast page is Matt Sager Podcast. And for even more social media links, along with more episodes of this podcast, a complete archive of back episodes, articles, blog posts, my voiceover reels, and all kinds of stuff, head on over to mattsagervoiceover.com.